Imagine for a moment that you're just standing on the back of this wild, roaring beast.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right, like a creature so immense and unpredictable that it could crush you in a fraction of a second.
Sounds terrifying.
It is. But somehow, miraculously, it's been calmed. Its
Yeah.
wildness has been suspended just enough so that you can walk across its back in complete safety.
Hmm.
And, modern geology tells us that is exactly what you are doing right now simply by standing on the earth.
It's a profound image.
Yeah. So, Arhu bila min ashayane rajam, bismillah, Ram. Welcome to a deep dive into a profoundly embodied passage of Sūrat al-Mulk.
Specifically, we're looking at verses 15 through 22 today.
Exactly. We're calling today's exploration The Earth Under Your Feet, Walking the Path of Mercy.
I love that title.
Thanks. Our mission today is to really take you on a journey that maps the universe outside of you to the universe inside of you.
Mm-hmm. Merging the two.
Right. We want to merge the outer physical reality of nature, what we call the O here, with the inner path of spiritual purification, the bayan, which is tazkiyah.
It's just a remarkable transition in the Quranic text, really. If we look at the verses right before this passage, we were immersed in these vast, incredibly intense metaphysical spaces.
Yeah, heavy stuff.
Very heavy. We were placed in the cosmic courtroom, confronting the realities of the fire, and then guided to look deep into the unseen, hidden interior of the human heart.
Mostly internal and otherworldly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the text pulls you outside.
It feels almost like stepping out of a dimly lit, intense room directly into the bright afternoon sun.
Yes. You're suddenly walking on the dirt. You're eating your food.
Looking up at birds in the sky.
Right. The sacred reality and the ordinary physical world suddenly share the exact same geography.
Which is fascinating. So I'm hoping we can guide the listener through both the outer sciences and the deep mystical insights of these verses and really figure out what kind of walker we are on this earth.
Let's do it. It's a passage that essentially demands a shift in our physical and spiritual posture.
So where do we start?
Let's start with how the earth itself is described.
Okay, yeah. Verse 15 uses this incredibly specific word, dulu. It says, the earth has been made dulu for you.
A very evocative word in classical Arabic.
It really is. I mean, historically, this term was most commonly used to describe a camel that had been broken and gentled for riding.
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about an animal that retains its immense raw power, but, that wildness has been made safe and accommodating for a human to mount.
And when you look at modern earth science, that metaphor is just startlingly precise.
It's spot on. We live under these fragile Goldilocks conditions. Deep down, our planet is fiercely active.
Magma, shifting tectonic plates.
Volcanic pressure. It's a world of liquid fire that should, by all geological logic, be a place of constant, violent upheaval.
But it's not.
Right. The crust has been made miraculously stable so we can walk on its open shoulders, its manakib.
Which perfectly highlights how the outer reality, the Ohir, sets up the spiritual lesson.
How so?
Well, the classical scholar al-Dabri points out that the stability of the earth is one of those profound acts of divine mercy. But it's entirely hidden in plain sight.
Because we just walk on it every day.
Exactly. We're shielded from the violence beneath our feet so we can build, plant, and simply live. But there's a catch to this constant gentleness.
It's a catch.
Because the gift of solid ground is so persistent, it becomes completely invisible to our hearts.
Oh, man. Which brings up a really complex psychological reality about human nature, actually. We adapt to miracles so quickly that they just become mundane.
We really do.
There's a well-documented concept in behavioral psychology called hedonic adaptation. It's essentially a neurological treadmill.
Right, where you just get used to things.
Exactly. When our circumstances improve or when we are given a constant gift, our brains register the spike in happiness initially. But very quickly, our neurological baseline resets.
We adapt to the new normal.
We do, and we literally stop noticing the good things. We just assume they are a given. So are we fundamentally wired to take the earth and the mercy that holds it together for granted?
That tendency to forget is exactly the spiritual sickness the verse is addressing. Al-Dabri suggests the verse is a direct intervention against that adaptation.
Like a reminder.
Yes, a way to make the invisible mercy visible again. But if we peel back another layer and look at the bain, the inner spiritual meaning, the metaphor goes much deeper.
Okay, I'm tracking.
The great Sufi master al-Qushayri offers a brilliant insight here. He says the earth in this verse is actually a mirror for the nafs.
The human ego.
Exactly.
So wait, the ego is the wild camel.
Precisely. The untrained self, the nafs, is inherently resistant. It bucks, it demands its own way, it is wild and chaotic by nature.
Yeah, that sounds like the ego.
Right. Now, a lot of people mistakenly think the goal of the spiritual path, the process of taskia, is to completely destroy or kill the ego.
Oh, but you can't do that.
No. Al-Qushayri points out that you cannot kill the beast because you need the camel to make the journey. The goal is to make it dulo.
You gentle it. You make it spiritually useful.
Yes. Just as the Creator gentled the tectonic violence of the earth so we could walk upon it, our lifelong task is to gentle our own nafs with spiritual discipline and adab.
Beautiful etiquette.
Exactly, beautiful etiquette, so that the nafs can carry us along the path to God.
Wow, that completely reframes the internal struggle. We aren't fighting a war of annihilation against ourselves.
Not at all.
We are training a wild animal to carry us home. But, having set up this beautiful image of the tamed earth and the tamed heart, the text doesn't let us stay comfortable.
It definitely doesn't.
Verses 16 and 17 execute this sudden, almost jarring pivot. It reminds you that the exact same earth that carries you could suddenly split open and swallow you.
It's a stark warning.
The sky that shelters you could suddenly rain stones down upon you. It violently shatters that psychological adaptation we were just talking about.
It's meant to be jarring. And there is a theological nuance in these warning verses that we really have to clarify because historically, it caused a lot of debate.
Right. The phrasing is specific.
It uses the phrase the one above the heavens or man fi al-sama. The classical scholar al-Qudi is very careful to explain that this is absolutely not about God's physical or spatial location.
Right.
To limit God to a physical coordinate in the sky is to misunderstand the nature of the divine entirely.
Because anything contained in a space is limited by that space.
Exactly. Instead, al-Qurtubi explains this phrase is a metaphor for ultimate unassailable sovereignty.
Ah, okay.
In the human mind, height equates to authority. The verbs used here, the earth swallowing, the sky sending down stones, reinforce the reality that all governance and authority descend from a higher transcendent source.
So it's about shifting our perception of power, not mapping out where God lives.
Spot on. And al-Qurtubi adds that these specific verses are not merely threats meant to terrify the reader into submission. They function as tanbihat,
Wake-up calls.
existential wake-up calls. They are meant to rouse a heart that has fallen asleep in its own comfort.
Yeah.
The gentleness of the earth is a real mercy, but the possibility of that gentleness being withdrawn is equally real. It forces you to realize that your security is granted, not guaranteed.
Man, that exposes how we constantly mistake continuity for permanence. Just because the ground didn't open up yesterday, we falsely assume we own it today by right.
We do. We assume we own the stability.
So I want to ask you, the listener, to really think about this right now. What is something in your life that you have entirely stopped being grateful for simply because it has lasted so long?
It's a profound diagnostic question for the state of the heart.
It really is.
Yeah.
So when you are caught in that delusion of absolute security or perhaps the anxiety of losing it, what breaks you out of it?
The text gives us a surprisingly simple directive.
Right. In verse 19, it tells you to look up at a bird.
Just a bird.
It points to a bird above you, spreading its wings afat and folding them yapitna. Let's look at the mechanics of this for a second. Avian flight is a marvel of biological engineering.
It's incredible.
During flight, a bird's primary feathers actually twist independently during each downstroke. It morphs its wing geometry mid-air in ways our best aviation technology still struggles to replicate.
Which is mind-blowing on its own.
But beyond the physics, there's a psychological mechanism at play. Clinical studies on what's called attention restoration theory show that modern life demands directed attention.
Like staring at our phones.
Staring at screens, focusing on tasks, and this depletes our cognitive reserves, leading to severe anxiety. But watching a bird in flight triggers soft fascination.
Soft fascination.
Yeah, it engages your brain's attention networks without draining them, allowing your nervous system to literally reset. The Quran is essentially saying when your mind is grinding in anxiety, look up and watch the physical manifestation of grace.
The physical healing of looking at the sky is undeniable, and the classical exegesis deeply mirrors that sense of awe.
How did the scholars see it?
The great theologian al-Razor pauses at this image of the bird and points out those two simultaneous actions, spreading the wings wide and folding or contracting them.
Right, the afat and yapina.
For al-Razi, this alternation isn't just about the mechanics of flying. The spreading and folding represent the fundamental breathing rhythm of all creation.
Oh, wow.
the constant expansion and return that defines every living thing. But the most crucial element in this verse is the specific divine name that holds the bird aloft.
Right. It says nothing holds them up but Al-Rahman, the merciful.
Yes, it does not say they are held up by Al-Qadir, the powerful, or Al-Aziz, the mighty.
Because those names would emphasize absolute force.
Exactly. It specifically invokes Al-Razan. The divine attribute of mercy is the structural aerodynamic condition of the bird's flight. The bird isn't suspended by power alone. It rests entirely on a cushion of mercy.
Okay, this is where we need to connect the outer world to the inner world again. How does this aerodynamic reality apply to the listener's internal spiritual state?
For that, we turn to Saul el-Tustari.
Mm-hmm.
He uses this verse to draw one of the most beautiful Sufi maps of the human heart.
I love his insights.
They are profound. He says that the wing spread wide corresponds to the spiritual state of Basi.
Bossy.
Yes, Basi is expansion. It's joy. It's ease. It's that feeling when your heart is wide open toward the divine.
Oh, those days when your prayers feel effortless.
Exactly. When you feel incredibly close to God and the world just feels full of light.
Okay, and the folded wing.
The folded wing is the state of Qapa. This is contraction.
That doesn't sound as nice.
No, it's difficulty, spiritual dryness, the painful closing inward of the heart. It's when you feel distant, burdened, or engulfed in grief.
Yeah.
Tustari points out that both of these states, expansion and contraction, are entirely real, and both are necessary movements of the same spiritual creature.
Okay, wait, I have to push back here. Because conceptually that sounds poetic. But in reality, if I am in a state of kaput, if I am grieving or my life is falling apart or I feel completely disconnected from the divine, that doesn't feel like mercy.
No, it doesn't.
It feels like punishment. It feels like abandonment. So how do we reconcile the acute feeling of being dropped with the reality of being held?
That is the absolute crux of the spiritual struggle. The illusion is that mercy only exists in the expansion, in the joy.
But it doesn't.
Think about the bird's wing. If the bird only spread its wings and never folded them to push back against the air, what would happen?
It would plummet.
Exactly. The contraction, the folding, is what generates the thrust necessary to keep flying. The ultimate lesson in spiritual etiquette, or adab, is realizing that Al-Rahman holds the bird through both movements.
Oh, wow.
Through the glorious spreading and through the painful folding.
That is complete paradigm shift. To realize the divine mercy isn't just present when I feel happy. The mercy is the very thing sustaining me through the pressure of the contraction.
True faith, genuine ikhla, is resting in the knowledge that divine mercy holds you securely in the contractions you cannot control, just as much as in the expansions you enjoy.
But if we are held so securely, why do we constantly fight it? Moving into verses 20 and 21, the text asks these unanswerable questions. Who is your army? And who would provide for you if he withheld his provision?
It forces us to look at our self-sufficiency.
Yeah, and there's a fascinating psychological parallel here regarding why we pull away. Clinical research into narcissistic entitlement reveals that it usually manifests as a pairing of two things.
That are they?
Extreme arrogance like, a refusal to acknowledge any dependency on others, and aversion, which is the instinct to pull away aggressively when that false sense of control is threatened.
And the Quran diagnoses this perfectly.
Yes. The text diagnoses the human condition using the exact same pairing, uti for arrogance and nufra for aversion.
It is a profound clinical diagnosis of the soul's sickness. When we forget the provider, we plunge into the delusion of our own self-sufficiency.
And we pull away.
We become arrogant, and we run away from the very source of our sustenance. The remedy for this sickness, as taught by scholars like Al-Ghazali, is tawakkul.
True, active reliance on God.
Yes, and we need to clarify tawakkul, because it's often misunderstood.
Right, like just sitting back, doing nothing, and waiting for God to fix everything.
Which is the furthest thing from the truth. Al-Ghazali goes to great lengths to separate tawakkul from fatalistic passivity.
Right.
Remember, the earlier verse explicitly commanded us to walk on the earth's shoulders and eat. You are supposed to strive.
You trade, you work, you study, you build a life.
Exactly. Tawakkul is an internal posture. It means acting fully in the material world while carrying the quiet, unwavering conviction in your heart that the hand actually providing the outcome is not your own.
The physical effort is entirely yours, but the ultimate provision belongs to the provider.
Precisely.
Which perfectly sets up the final, incredibly vivid image in verse 22. We are given the image of two walkers.
Let's look at them.
The first is someone walking stumbling, their face pressed downward to the ground, mukaban. The second is someone walking upright, balanced sawayan on a straight and level path, a ayur mustaqim.
It's a stark contrast.
And I want to bring in the concept of embodied cognition here to explain how deep this metaphor goes.
Well, please do.
Our physical posture literally dictates our psychological reality. When you slump your shoulders or bow your head down constantly, it chemically narrows your cognitive focus and actually increases depressive, anxious thoughts.
Wow.
Yeah. Walking upright with your chest open and your eyes forward neurologically broadens your attentional scope and increases positive problem-solving capabilities. Your physical posture limits what you are capable of perceiving.
And that neurological reality is a perfect mirror for the spiritual reality.
How so?
The poet Rumi interprets the face-down walker as a person entirely consumed by worldly appetite. Because their face is pressed into the dust, their entire universe is reduced to ground-level concerns.
Survival, status, consumption, the daily grind.
Yes, they stumble because they literally cannot see the road ahead. They have never lifted their gaze to see where the path leads.
And the one who walks upright.
For that, we look to Ibn Arabi's vision of the Insan al-Kamil, the fully realized human being.
Okay.
The person walking upright on the straight path has successfully aligned two axes of existence. They have their horizontal movement, they walk the earth, they engage with society, they work.
Right.
But they perfectly balance that horizontal motion with a vertical connection to heaven. They touch the material earth without ever being buried in it.
They move through the world without losing sight of the divine reality above them.
This brings me to an absolute aha moment I had while reviewing our sources for this deep dive.
Oh, I love these moments. What did you find?
It's about the hidden architecture beneath the text. For anyone who might not be familiar with it, classical Arabic operates on what's called the abjad system.
Right, the numerical values. Essentially, every single letter in the Arabic alphabet has a specific mathematical value attached to it. So a word isn't just a string of sounds, it is a mathematical equation.
It's fascinating.
And when you calculate the digital roots of the key words in this passage, it reveals a structural symmetry that is just staggering.
The numerical harmony in the Quran is always a beautiful layer of here reflecting the buy-in. Walk us through it.
Let's start with the ones. The word for tamed and gentle dulul, and the word for provision risk. When you break down their abjad values to a single digital root, they both reduce to the number 1.
The universal number of unity.
Right. It's as if the underlying mathematics are telling us that the gentle earth beneath our feet and the food we eat are not two separate random gifts.
They are a single, continuous gesture from the one singular source.
Exactly. And then it moves to the 5s. The word for the shoulders of the earth, manakib. The name of the merciful, al-Rahman, the all-seeing buyer. And the word for walking upright, sawayan.
Okay.
Every single one of these words reduces mathematically to 5. Think about the significance of 5. The 5 human senses that perceive the world, the 5 daily prayers that keep us upright, the 5 fingers of a fully open, receiving hand.
That is incredible.
The stable path, the overarching mercy, the divine perception, and the upright human walker are all vibrating on the exact same numerical frequency.
And we cannot forget the 7 of the bird.
Yes. The word for birds, Aliyur, reduces perfectly to 7.
Which is the exact same digital root as the 7 heavens mentioned in the very opening verses of this surah.
Right. The fragile bird flapping its wings in the lowest sky mathematically mirrors the vast cosmic architecture of the 7 heavens that surround it.
It connects the smallest mercy to the grandest design.
But honestly, the one that genuinely gave me pause was the 9s.
What about the 9s?
The word for walking with your face pressed to the ground, mukaban, and the word for the general act of walking itself, yamshi, both reduced to 9.
Interesting.
Now, 9 is the final single digit before you roll over to 10. It is the number of completion, but also the precipice. It is so unsettling because the math implies that the simple act of walking is always right on the edge of falling.
Oh, man.
The exact same forward motion contains the potential for the upright path and the potential for a face-down stumble. We are always just one posture away from a fall.
That is perhaps the most profound summation of the human spiritual journey. The straight path, the al-Mustaqim, is not a destination you arrive at once and then stop.
Right.
It is an act of sustained, conscious intention. With every single step, you are required to make a choice.
Will I look down and be consumed by the dust, or will I walk upright and look toward the provider?
Exactly.
So bringing this all together, I want to leave you, the listener, with a question to carry with you today. I want you to picture what face down looks like in your own life.
It's a tough question to ask yourself.
It is. Are you moving face down right now, staring at your phone, obsessing over the next deadline, hyper-focused on the immediate anxieties right in front of your feet, so much so that you've forgotten where your path is actually leading?
We all do it.
What would it practically take for you to lift your gaze today?
It requires immense honesty to identify where our gaze is truly fixed.
And to help shift that posture, we want to suggest a very small, practical application. Over the next 7 days, practice a tiny moment of dhikr, of conscious remembrance.
I love this.
In the morning, before you touch your phone, before you let the noise and the anxieties of the world pull your face downward, step outside or go to a window, look at the sky.
Just for a moment.
Watch a bird for just 3 minutes. Allow that soft fascination to reset your mind, and notice how simply physically lifting your gaze changes the spiritual posture of your heart for the rest of the day.
If I may, I would like to offer a soft reflection, a munajat, an intimate prayer to close our time together.
Please do.
O you who made the roaring earth gentle beneath our feet, teach us to walk upon it with awakened, grateful hearts. O merciful one who holds the fragile bird through its spreading and its folding, hold us too in the painful contractions we cannot control. Guide our gaze upward so we may walk upright toward you. Amen.
Amin. As we conclude today's deep dive, we are honored to fulfill a specific request for this episode. Compiled with gratitude by Mir Ali Shah, a seeker sharing through the living the wisdom of the Quran podcast.
A beautiful intention.
And to all of you listening, we also humbly ask for your forgiveness and acceptance regarding any AI-related mispronunciations of the beautiful Arabic terms or classical names used in our discussion today. We are simply doing our best to convey the depth of these profound ideas.
Our intention is always rooted in learning, humility, and connection.
Remember the earth under your feet today. It is wild, it is immensely powerful, and it was gentled entirely out of mercy. Just for you.
Walk lightly.
And keep your gaze lifted. Until next time.